EntreMusician, and so are you. And you know what we're doing? We did a cliffhanger last week where we're picking it right back up with brother Ray Calhoun, the outstanding Ray Calhoun. Let's put it that way, because we were talking about the incredible mega hit that he wrote that the Gap Band absolutely blew up worldwide, soundtrack everywhere. Can't imagine a wedding reception without outstanding playing. This is the brother who wrote it. Last time we were together, we were talking about how he started writing the tune and what the journey is now that he's into it. 3.5 decades later, Ray Calhoun, what's happening, brother?
Hey, man. Back at you.
Like back Charlie at it.
At you again.
Thanks for coming back on, bro.
Yay. You know, like they say, ain't nobody going to promote you but you.
That's what's up. Now,
any kind of promotional opportunity I can get my hands on.
I appreciate you giving us the time that you have, man. The last time that we were together, you told us, and look, I don't want to rob the people from going back and playing the last episode, but you were telling us how you came about to write Outstanding, the $300, your last $300 that you had on the Fender Rhodes. You got it from SIR, and wow, you know, the Lord really blessed that you were able to take those same chords that you used as a teenager and create the most outstanding hit that has been sampled by everybody, including Shaquille O'Neal. So when you get an NBA baller to sample your stuff, you know you're doing it. But you were telling us there were some issues with the credits and how you were able to overcome those. Can you pick that up?
Well, yeah, you know, like I said, initially, like, because I went off and did my own thing with my own deal with Reggie Lucas, who I was involved with Reggie Lucas. You know, Reggie Lucas was partners with Entume Lucas, and Absolutely. They did Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway. Reggie himself, God rest his soul, he passed away 2 years ago. He was credited for Madonna's success. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
That our deal that we had with Reggie, three record deal was us, Sunfire, an artist by the name of Mark Soudane, and Madonna. It was a deal that Warner Brothers gave Reggie. That back in those days, they used to give you those 3 production, you know, deals, and they gave this deal to Reggie, 3-act deal. Madonna was one of his acts, and I met Madonna when she was a nobody in the studio at Signal Sound in New York. And he said, "This is Madonna, Raymond. She's one of my artists that we getting ready to do a record on." Man, and she was a nobody.
Wow.
And sure enough, he wrote 2 of their biggest songs, Borderline and Lucky Star. And that's what put her on the map, kind of.
Right.
Holiday, too. But those 2 songs, you know, really defined her. And Reggie was the writer and producer of those songs.
So when did he bring in Now Rodgers to work with that? Was he in the camp?
Well, it wasn't Niles. It wasn't Niles. It was actually Benitez.
I see.
I forgot his name.
Jelly Bean?
Jelly Bean Benitez.
Yeah.
She brought Jelly Bean Benitez in the process of him and her doing their record. And some kind of way they had a falling out.
I see.
She wanted Jelly Bean to mix the record and all this and that. And some kind of way, that's how that happened with Jelly Bean Benitez being involved in the project, Donna's project. But Reggie was the initial producer on her album. He was the one. She was a part of his 3-act deal at Warner Brothers.
Gotcha.
And when she started blowing up, she flipped it. That's usually what happens.
Right. Now let me ask this question, and we'll put the train back on the tracks. But so now Reggie and Entume had already come out with Juicy Fruit at this point, because that was blowing.
No, at that point when Reggie and me, when we did our Sunfire record, Toombs was in the studio doing his record, and his record was the record Juicy Fruit.
Which exploded.
Yeah, which exploded. I remember going over to the studio with Andre Perry. He was the manager for Reggie and Entume, and over to East Orange, and I went over there with him into the studio that Entumes used to work out at, and Tunes played it for me. He was in there working on it. Then he said, "Man, Calhoun, what do you think about this song right here?" And it came on, and I was like, the beat really was like, I was like feeling the beat first. The beat was just like some sickness.
Magnetic, man, magnetic.
And then he was doing all the animation with it too. Me too. We both percussionists and drummers, so we always use our hands to animate shit. And he was doing all that, and I was like, man, that's it, bro. And a couple of weeks later, he said, listen to it now. And he had all of the lyrics and words and the melody all to it, and concept and everything. And I was like, man, who did say? Who would have known? It would just go. That's man. When I think about all of the hit records and all of the songs that were just all of a sudden magic that I have been involved with in some kind of form. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that I played on Anita Baker's first album.
It's true. Now, she was just out of Chapter 8 at that point, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Her first solo album.
Yeah.
I'm on that album. I'm on Angel. And all songs like that, And I remember when Anita couldn't even she was catching the bus one day. Me and my wife were going to the studio to do her record and picked her up at the bus stop.
Wow.
So I really need to write a book.
Yes, you do.
Because I got a lot of history, man. I got a lot of stories.
Well, I'll be your first interview when you come out with the book, when the book is published.
Right. I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, and I'm not going to be in the book and bash people.
No.
I'm just going to talk about what I've seen.
Well, here's the thing, and absolutely. But I talk to a lot of musicians everywhere, and the thing to me, especially, and I think you made when you were being interviewed on Indie Power, you said something that I thought was very good, because we talk about this all the time around Youngstown, Cleveland, Pittsburgh area where I am. And the thing about it is, your rock musicians at 9, 10, 11 years old, they know the Beatles, they know Keith Richards, they know Metallica, they know Def Leppard, they know Led Zeppelin. But our kids, when you talk about soul, funk, R&B, nobody knows Cameo. Nobody knows the Bar-Kays. Nobody knows who Sugarfoot from the Ohio Players is. I mean, our legends, Roger Troutman. Come on, we do need our history recorded, and people like you who have been in that juice during that time, we need that documentation.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do that. I just got to find the right person that will sit with me and have patience so I can go through all my my stories, man. Like I said, I started out when I got with the Manhattans, Let's Just Kiss and Say Goodbye.
Classic.
Was their first big record. You know what I'm saying? Classic record.
That's right. And they had been around for a while before that happened, but that was the smash that got them.
Yeah, that was the one that put them on the map, though.
Exactly.
Let's Just Kiss. And same with Peaches and Herb.
Right.
Shake Your Groove thing and Reunited put them on the map.
It got to a point where I didn't want to hear Reunited anymore.
Oh my God. That was like, it's like they played that record like 100 times a day. And exactly. I was right there in the middle of that with them, playing in places like the real Disco 9000 in New York, where they did Saturday Night Fever.
Yep.
We played a gig in that club on that floor with the lights in it and all that. And when I look at that movie, I say, damn, I played in that joint right there on that same stage with Peaches and Herb that they did that movie Saturday Night Fever.
Amazing.
And, I got these memories in Brooklyn. I'm like, man, this is like, because I used to live in Jersey City, but anyway, man, yeah, I got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of people don't know I'm on the west side of things out here on the West Coast. You ever heard this song called West Coast Poppers? California knows how to party.
Oh, yeah.
Knows how to party.
But wasn't that Roger was on that, right?
No, that wasn't Roger. That was the West Side Poppers, California.
Is that right?
Yeah, that wasn't Roger.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to tell you.
And you had something to do with the production of that?
I'm playing drums on that record.
You need the.
And that was like a sleeper. That was a sleeper record. You know, nobody thought it would. I didn't think it was gonna be no big smash. It's like a cult smash now.
Right.
California knows how to party. California knows how to party in the city.
That's why I thought it was Roger, man.
That's what we thought it was Roger, but that's where Roger got it from.
Word up.
Trying to tell you something that you don't know. You better ask somebody. You better
Appreciate
ask
the education.
I'm trying to tell you.
I appreciate that. That's that, yo. So we gotta get
a link to that song, and then you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about.
We gotta get a word pad to you, man. I'm gonna overnight something to you so you can start like typing that history up.
Yeah, that's like some major history, bro. A lot of people don't know where that came later, where Roger Troutman and them came from. So,
but let's go back into. Here's the deal. You did outstanding. What the last episode we're talking about, even going to trying to change the spelling of your name on the credit.
Yeah,
so
it was.
You couldn't get yours,
okay? Right.
We got the SR recording going down. We got Lonnie Simmons. We got Ray Calhoun. We got Charlie Wilson on some of the pressing. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So now, how did that journey start when you said, look, I got to get what's mine. It's 100% mine. What was that journey like for you?
It was rough because, like I said, I was over there in Reggie Lucas's camp, and they were trying to do this underhanded stuff over here in the Total Experience camp.
Made you sign over to publishing?
Well, I had signed to publishing over way before I even went with Reggie Lucas.
Gotcha.
And because that was, like I said, the first song I wrote, and Lonnie said, if you want a song on the Gap Bands albums, you got to give up the publishing. So at the time, Outstanding was just a song to me, man. I had no ideas it was going to turn out to be anything. And since I was just giving up a song. So that's what I did. I gave up the song, gave up the publishing, and said, as long as you pay me my writer's share, I don't care. So Lonnie, if you see you being in Ohio, you don't know how this dude was out here. He was a gangster.
Gotcha.
Out here. And he never paid nobody. And Charlie talks about that. Mm-hmm. He never paid nobody. He never paid me my writer's share. But they were so mad at me for going and trying to do something better for myself that they tried to smear me.
Gotcha. And
put their names on something that they didn't write. Yeah. So I went and got a good lawyer, and I had all of the money stopped on that album. That album you just held up right there?
Yeah.
With the three brothers on it, I had all of the money stopped on that album.
The entire album from being
the entire album.
I see.
The entire album was stopped because they had my name spelled wrong on there. My lawyer, Kendall Mentor, fought it and said, if you don't change this boy's name, we're going to sue you because he is the writer of this song. And Polygram went to Lonnie and said, y'all better change that on the next pressing. And that's exactly what they did to have all the money released because the money was froze. The Polygram wasn't giving up no money because of this dispute that they had with me over trying to spell my name wrong and steal my credits and stuff. And so Polygram, my lawyers got on it and made him change it and spell my name correctly. Raymond Calhoun as the one writer. Lonnie and them, whatever they tried, their efforts to try to go in and do a 12-inch mix is what they used to call them back in the days.
Correct.
To put their names on. That didn't have anything to do with the original copyright version of the song.
Understood.
You see what I'm saying? That's just some kind of underhandedness that they tried to do to collect money on the record. It didn't work because they didn't collect shit on it.
Gotcha. What happened with respect to the samples? So when the rappers came in and they started sampling, were they sampling from that 12-inch?
They were sampling in the form of both.
From them both. Okay. So how did they get?
From the original copy as well as for example, a lot of people were sampling. A lot of people think because it was on the 12-inch. That's what the remix was with the percussion, but it was on the first original one as well.
Understood.
You see, they just took the original master and went in and tried to
manipulate,
add some jumbo and some, a little more salt or a little more pepper to some shit.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? With a different kind of mix. That's all they did.
Right. So who would get the royalties though from that sampling? Is that all coming to you, or
that was all going to whoever Delani, because he was controlling the publishing anyway. It didn't matter what they did and what version at the time, because he was getting all the publishing anyway.
Understood.
So I don't understand why he even did that shit. Because like you stole my writers too. You didn't even pay me my writers.
Wow.
He took all of them. Look, when Outstanding was a hit in 1983, that record was double platinum. I ain't get paid nothing. I ain't get my writers. The only money I made was my performances from BMI. Okay, but that wasn't the mechanicals.
That's correct.
I didn't get my mechanicals at all. My publishing or my writers. Well, the publishing was supposed to be his because I said I want it on the record, so I'll give you the publishing, but give me my writers.
So take us through how you were able, because it's 3.5.
Now I'm gonna show you. So what happened? I think the law was written in 1979. It's the copyright revision law. It where you can recapture your copyrights after 35 years, that song is 3 decades old.
Correct.
So after 35 years, you got a window that you can go and you can file to get your copyrights back from the original leasing. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly in 2018. I think, 2018 is when I did it. I went and a light went off in my head, said, hey, it's 35 years. Let me go and find me a good lawyer so I can recapture my copyright.
Absolutely.
So I went and found this lawyer out of New York, Lisa Alter. She's the best. Mm-hmm. She's one of the best in the game. And I paid her, and she put in the paperwork to me to get all of my songs. I Found My Baby, Outstanding, You Told Me That, Sweeter Than Candy, all the songs that I wrote for the Gap Band during Lonnie's time. Yeah. They all come back to me now. 3 of them come back right now. 3 of them come back in 2023. But I get I Found My Baby, Outstanding, and You Told Me That, I get that right now.
Gotcha.
So, that's how it works. But what happens, this is how it works, though. A lot of people understand when the recapture thing happens, they say after 1979, all writers are able to recapture this stuff after 35 years. But what you end up doing, what happens is you end up it becomes a new copyright, basically.
Gotcha.
And it's only good for the U.S. territory.
Okay.
It's not good for Europe or out of the country. So I lose 10% of the revenue. And it becomes, because 90% of the revenue is the States anyway.
Sure.
So I get the U.S. copyright back. So I can do what I want, license it how I want to license it, wherever, whoever, whenever I want to license it. And it becomes, but here's the kicker. Here's the ass kicker. Excuse my French.
Good.
Like my song probably has been sampled probably more than a lot of songs.
Wikipedia says most sampled song in history, music history.
Yeah. Me and George Clinton and James Brown probably got the most sampled song in history. So with all of the records Outstanding was on, came to, me and my wife did some math on it over the years, so you can get an idea of kind of money I lost on the deal.
Sure.
It was probably on by itself, probably 27,600,000 records.
Wow.
Not counting the most recent stuff. See, I don't even know what, for example, I don't know if you know that song was recently on a video game, NBA Live NBA 2K19?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's on the new video game for NBA 2K19. That game sold 10 million copies.
So what happens with back royalties then? Are you able
Well,
to collect?
I'm getting to that.
Sure.
So I'm getting to that. So those are all the records that song has been on, including the back royalties for the video game or whatever, if it was, or I don't know the deal that they made, BMG made. But here's what happens. When you get your new copyright back, they wrote another law that, from what I'm understanding, either Obama or either Clinton or Bush signed in. It's called the Derivative Works Law.
Okay. Yeah.
And what that means is you cannot collect money on any of the derivatives, the samples, the old works, the remakes, all under that copyright.
Wow.
It all stays with BMG. So all of the revenue stream from all of that stuff stays with BMG. I don't collect any money on it. So that's why I said that's what happens is basically my copyright becomes a new copyright.
The new copyright, yeah.
And so a lot of people think, oh, damn, dude, you going to get money off that? Oh, I only get money from March 23rd, 2020 on. Anything after March 23rd of this year on. Anything before March 23rd, they keep it all.
Amazing. Well, here's my question. How is then did Total Experience Publishing, did they sign over their rights to BMG? How did BMG acquire?
No. That was part of the story I left out. So Lonnie would, and like I said, this is part of the stuff that I'm gonna talk about in my book.
Yeah. When
I get to do a book. But what happened was Lonnie went through a bankruptcy. And to be honest with you, and I'm saying it right here because I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna look right in the camera and tell you this. If somebody don't like what I'm saying or want to come at me and rebut what I'm saying, come on, I'm welcoming it. Because realistically, Lonnie, he was not legally in his legal rights to sell that catalog to John Fogerty in 1989. He wasn't in his legal rights to do that. It was not the John Fogerty.
Okay.
The British guy in London named John Fogerty, Minder Music.
Okay.
Is the name of the company. Lonnie was not in his legal right to sell that because he was in bankruptcy.
I see.
He was in bankruptcy when he sold that catalog to Rudy Taylor. And I'm just letting it be told. I want you to come after me.
Word.
I'm right here. But I'm telling it. I'm telling.
Yes, sir.
He sold that catalog for $1 to Rudy Taylor to try to beat his bankruptcy. He sold the catalog to Rudy for $1. And Rudy went in turn and sold it to John Fogerty for Lonnie to get some small amount of money just so he could keep his business afloat, so he could keep Total Experience afloat. And that's a fact. I got documents to prove that.
Wow.
But because there's a statute, I've been trying to find a lawyer for the last 2 years to help me go back. Because what I'm telling you legally, but there's a couple things here. Legally, he had no right to sell that catalog. Legally, he was in breach of his contract with me before he sold it because he never paid me my writer's share. So you didn't breach the contract right there, as well as selling the catalog.
Correct.
Illegally. And you didn't pay the writers their writer's share illegally. So it was fraud all the way around. And you sold it for $1 while you were in bankruptcy when the trustees were supposed to be making that sale.
Yeah.
You were in bankruptcy and you sold the catalog for $1, way under its value. Didn't tell none of the writers or anything that I'm selling the catalog. Just sold it to keep myself going. To John Fogerty. Fogerty came to us and said, look, Lonnie sold me the catalog. And at that time, I was still broke as a church mouse in 89. Said, I'm controlling the publishing now. You sign over the publishing to me, I will pay you your writer's share. I will pay you your writer's share. In back of my mind, I'm going, well, illegally, I never made no money was I with Lonnie. Lonnie was in bankruptcy. How could he even sell it to this guy? But me being a small fry, I had no backup to go after him. So all I could do was say, okay, you control the publishing now. He said, I'll give you $10,000 to sign with me, and I will pay you your writer's share. Well,
what year was this?
What
year was this?
1989.
89, okay.
And when you don't have money,
right,
like I didn't have,
right,
$10,000 looks good.
Right. But in the meantime, while this is happening, Broke as a Church Mouse being taken for the publishing, Outstanding is a worldwide anthem.
No, not yet.
Not yet? In 89?
In 89, not yet.
Well, maybe just in my small
anthem, it was an anthem for the Gap Band. It was an anthem. But it didn't start getting sampled until 1989 when Rob Bass was the first person that sampled Outstanding.
Well, let me just say from my little purview, okay, and this is Northeast Ohio, but I'm saying, like I started this episode, everywhere you went, you heard Outstanding. Every radio station, Outstanding.
The Gap Band.
It's like a staple.
Right. Yeah, the Gap Band version. No, I was getting my performances, but I wasn't getting my mechanicals.
Gotcha. The sales.
So I wasn't getting the sale. I was getting the performances, airplay, radio, like that.
We with that.
And so Lonnie sold it to Fogerty. Fogerty got it in 89, came to us and said, I'll pay you guys your writers, but I'm in control of the publishing now. So I don't have any money, and I signed that deal. Say fine. Right after I signed that, everybody and their mama, after Rob Bass, starts sampling Outstanding. Ice Cube, Shaquille O'Neal, Madonna, Blackstreet, Redman, you name it. Huh?
Ja Rule, Ashanti.
You name it. Everybody and their mama. And all those records, this is how I came up with that 27,600,000 number. All those records were going platinum, triple platinum. Ashanti's album went 6 times platinum. Kylie Minogue's album went 6 times platinum. All these records, I got about 15, 16 plaques all over my wall from platinum and triple platinum albums from all of these records that were selling using that sample, whether it's the tick 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 or the track or whatever from Outstanding.
Right.
So so Fogerty owned it and he was making all the money. He was paying me my writer's share. But yourself, everybody knows about creative, I call it creative accounting.
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows that what the creative accounting is.
Yeah.
I know well if the printouts were coming from his computer, I wasn't getting my real money.
Yes, sir.
He was paying me my writer's share, but I wasn't getting my real writer's share.
Correct.
He was just, satisfying my taste.
These are the numbers, guys. That's what it is.
Yeah. Satisfying my taste with some money.
Word.
Sending me a $30,000 check when that check should have been $60,000. Or $50,000 when it should have been $100,000.
Correct.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
And then after he owned it and controlled it, and I call him, to me, stealing all my real money, because my song was the most earner for the Gap Band catalog in terms of samples. and records that it was on that was selling records.
Yeah.
Then he decides he wants to sell it to BMG. And he does this right around the time, a little bit before Bruno Mars' record, Uptown Funk,
Right.
came. He decides he's selling his whole catalog, Mind the Music, to BMG. He's controlled it all this time. Yeah. Now he all of a sudden wants to sell it to BMG because he goes after Bruno Mars, saying that Bruno Mars stole a riff from Oops Upside the Head in his Uptown Funk. Now, you're a drummer,
yeah,
like me. He only stole a rhythm.
Correct.
Dot, 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 dot.
Right.
Because Bruno Mars goes uptown, funk you up, uptown, funk you up. So he went and said it that, he stole the interpretation of say oops upside your head, say oops upside your head. And rather than Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson fighting the guy in court over that, they just said, look, we don't want the headache of this.
Just settle.
Let's just settle with them. Give them 17% of the song. So that he got 17% of the song to split between him and the brothers. And, I don't know. That song wasn't a part of the deal. From what I understand in the beginning, that song wasn't a part of the deal that he made with BMG when he sold the catalog. But from what I understand now, it was just for a minute. Now, from what I'm hearing, now it's inspired. BMG is supposed to be getting revenue now from that portion that Fogerty didn't sell them in the beginning. So he held on to it for a while, and then he ends up giving them, this is from what I was told recently. So BMG ends up with the catalog,
right?
The entire Gap Band catalog, my song included in there, and they sleeping, thinking that, I heard that the Gap Band were all crackheads and drug addicts and alcoholics, so they don't take care of business. They never think to go and recapture their copyrights. Nobody involved with them would think to do that, but they were wrong. Because I was that one that did it. Right under their nose.
Understood.
Right under their nose.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And that's why I celebrate it like I do on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, because there's a lot of us don't get an opportunity to do this.
That's exactly right. And that's why I stepped right in when I saw the post on LinkedIn. Like, I did not know prior to that there was any contention about it. But what we do here at the EntreMusician, this is it. You have to be an entrepreneur and a musician. You cannot just come out here as a drummer, as a guitar player, and think that that's it. This is the business of music. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how come I hit you up, man, within 24 hours of seeing the post. Like, you gotta tell the story, because everybody who watches or listens to us here have to know what the real game is all about.
Right. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to brag about it. I'm not trying to blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to kick some knowledge.
Absolutely.
Kick some knowledge to cats to let them know how to handle their business.
That's right.
Because like I said, a lot of our cats, they thought we're all drug addicts. We never outlive our copyrights. Yeah. And if we did, we'd be in a nursing home somewhere and wouldn't be knowing about it. Black artists,
Correct.
They figure he's 64 years old. He don't know nothing about none of that shit.
Correct.
He's probably drugged out somewhere. Wrong.
I saw where Sly Stone, this is a year and a half ago, was awarded $700,000 for back royalties on something that they were, keeping. Unfortunately for him, and this is not, I'm not disrespecting him. Everybody knows his history, so he was drugged out most part of his life. But for you to be able to step in there and say, "Hey, this is what's mine. This is what's coming." What about Charlie? How has he reacted we know that Lonnie has passed on. I think he passed away in 2019.
Right. This is
But
from what I heard from Charlie. From what I heard from Charlie's situation is that, and I think he's even spoke on this himself, is that he relinquished all of his rights, period, just so
really,
he could get out of his deals with the Total Experience. He could get out of his deal with the Total Experience, and I believe Capital, I think even EMI. So Charlie was clean. He just didn't, he got out of his deal clean, so he might not own any of his stuff,
I see.
but he got out clean and was able to reinvent himself as Charlie Wilson. And
Her name is
and
Charlie.
my name is Charlie,
Right.
and he's able to do that. You know what I'm
Are
saying?
you guys still in touch with each other?
Actually, last time I saw Charlie was at Robert's funeral.
I
I was one of the pallbearers at Robert's funeral,
Uh-huh.
and the last time we talked, as at Robert's funeral, was the last time we spoke. Actually, no, that's not true, because I saw him on the boat. I saw him on one of them Tom Joyner cruises. I played with Tito Jackson every now and then, his blues band.
Yeah.
And I was on Tito, and I saw Charlie was on the cruise too, and that's when we talked for a brief minute.
Yeah.
But I haven't spoken with him since, bro. Since it's been a while now. I haven't spoken with Charlie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just move on with my life, man, and just try to take care of my business. This was a big part of my legacy, was to try to recapture my copyrights.
Absolutely.
So for the last couple of years, I just been focusing on that and not thinking about anything Gap Band related in terms of the brothers dealing with that, because you have to take care of your own business.
True.
They're not going to do it for you.
True.
They didn't do it for us when we were young back then. They're surely not going to do it now.
Because basically what you were saying early on, and this was in the last episode, that as long as you were on the road, you were cool. I guess you got paid for recording gigs, but after you left the road, that was it. You fend for yourself, get a day job, or do something else.
I mean, Lonnie was pretty rough, man. I'm one person that, I don't know if you saw that Unsung when I was on there, and I was talking about Yarborough and Peebles. I was having to speak on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. I spoke on it a little bit on the Unsung, BET Unsung. But a lot of the stuff I was saying, like I'm talking frank with you right now about, they cut it out. They wouldn't let me. Because I ain't scared to say that. You know what I'm saying? No, hey, you want to talk to me? I write you my address down. You come speak to me in person. They know that's how my heart is. It's like I ain't got no fear.
Word.
So I say what I want to say. I'm not gonna. You think I didn't sign no confidentiality contract with you, so you can't throw that in my face. So I'm gonna say what I want to say. If it's gonna educate people and let people know how it really went down.
Right.
Understood. I'm very outspoken with that, and I do it. I don't care what Charlie thinks, what Ronnie thinks, what Lonnie thought, with anybody else.
It is about preserving your legacy, and really, I mean, there was some real money lost, and we're not talking about chump change here.
No, man, we're talking real money.
My hopes and prayers is that there would be some sort of I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but when you see Smokey Robinson sitting in front of Congress trying to get paid, Smokey Robinson, and you go, this music business thing is a real trip, because the real musicians are not running the business. Attorneys are running the business. Accountants, attorneys. You know what I mean?
And DJs that really don't know, they ain't been musicians like us. They wasn't in the trenches like us, practicing and studying their craft or playing their instruments hard like we did all our lives. No, man, them cats is spinning turntables and pulling my record out of a rack and putting it on the deck and sampling it and blah, blah, and becoming like major players in the game. And they're the ones that's, molding the new music business. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's destroying it at the same time. But they, so I look for every opportunity, bro, to talk about it and put people on blast about it. And to tell my story so people can learn from something like that.
That's right.
And not think the grass is greener because you're a millennium and you living in this new age of music. You know, Smokey Robinson was fighting for a lot of old guys.
That is absolutely correct.
That could not get paid.
That's right. But can you understand though, the tracks of my tears? You know what I mean? I'm talking about, this is legend, but he has to go before Congress. I've never seen anything like it. No other industry is as unregulated and can be so gangstered as the
music business. Athletes get it right. You know, actors get it right. You know, there's some shadiness that goes on with the black part of the film and TV, but certain ones can get it right.
Yeah.
But on a big scale, the music's been not too nice to black musicians.
That's right.
Business has not been.
Records.
White musicians is another story, but black musicians, it ain't been too nice to us.
Well, the thing about it is, too, I mean, I can't say that I've been in the trenches to that international level like you have. But the thing that I've always seen, I mean, the very first book that I read back in the 7th grade was Kenny Rogers, Making It with Music. Like, I knew that there was something else. I knew that there had to be. And anybody who knows me for more than 15 minutes will tell you that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about copyrights. I want to talk about publishing, because without publishing, without owning your own work, it's done. Forget about it. We're in the age of the streaming and the Spotify and all that, where they're cutting it even more. But if you don't have anything, and these technology companies are trying to take everything that they can, the 360 deals, the leasing your music, the buying your catalog upright. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't read the small print, it's done. It's a wrap. Playing your drums is not going to keep you paid. Playing your guitar is not going to do it.
Let me say something to you. Like, I posted that ad about my rights, getting them back and everything. But believe it or not, man, BMG has been trying to negotiate with me for the last year to keep my rights.
For them to keep your rights?
Yeah. They have been negotiating with me for at least a year.
No.
And I'm going to be, like I told you, I ain't afraid to say nothing.
That's correct.
That's who I am. That's how I was made. That's the cloth I was made from my father.
Correct.
That's who I am, and people know that about me. Musicians and all. I'm the same way when it comes to playing, and cats, no, I take care of business when it comes to music. I got a good track record with that. I don't have a bad name with that. Yeah. And so I'm not just a person talking shit.
Right.
But Quaz kept BMG when they made the first offer to keep and this is what made me post that. This is kind of what you remember how we talked about when we walking down the street and praying God to show me a way to write a song, and then the God blessed me, and you remember that story? Well, Absolutely. This is another extension of that story. Mm-hmm. So here's the extension of that story. So now I had opportunity to get my stuff back, and I get it back. But BMG, in the meanwhile, they want to say, well, we want to keep it. Let's make an offer to you to keep it. And I'm just going to tell you straight out what their first offer was, just so you'll know, and other people out there will know how dirty. I ain't going to be racist, but I'm going to be how dirty they are to black writers and musicians. I have a classic R&B song. Anthem. A song that's going to be playing when me and you are gone.
Absolutely.
They offered me $150,000 for the copyright.
Wow. That's wrong. That's wrong.
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you stutter, brother.
I didn't say 150.
No.
I said $150,000 is what they offered me for my copyright.
That's terrible.
That was the initial offer. They made 5 offers after that. and I turned every one of them down. The last offer, the average motherfucker would not have turned it down.
Yeah. Understood. Because you see 150 G's, yo, let's roll with it.
Off 150 G's ain't shit.
Right.
I'm saying to you, the last offer was well over that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't
yours.
But it wasn't enough. And I thought about it, and I said, the average guy would have said, oh shit, I'll take that. But I said no. Because I have to make an example of myself, and I have to say, if I sell it back to them, then it ain't mine no more.
That is correct.
And that's what they want me to do.
That is correct. That is correct.
And they want to see how thirsty I am,
right,
to sell it back to them. And then right after that last offer, and I said no, then that's when I posted that shit saying, I finally own my shit.
That's right.
And I'll start over again.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm doing. Starting over again with that same song in terms of revenue.
Yes.
Because they get to keep all the revenue they're making. They want to offer me $150,000 initially. It's this complete disrespect, slap in the face. Nigga, get your ass out of here. Just
take the money and we'll see you later.
We own your shit for life. And for 100, I said, kiss my black ass.
I feel you.
And then they made the last offer. Like I said, the average person would have taken that offer. Would have taken that offer. I guarantee you they would have taken that offer.
Wow.
And I told them no.
I can absolutely understand it. I mean that from my heart, from my spirit.
So that's where I'm at, bro. So now I just got off the phone talking to a lawyer in Atlanta. I talked to my lawyer in New York. I was on the phone with BMI before I called you back, trying to clear up stuff. Somebody hit me this morning about trying to get a license to use Outstanding for their record, and they want to, So I'm constantly trying to take care of my business when it comes to that now, because it ain't in BMG's hands no more. Excellent. It's in my hands. Excellent. And I have to take care of my own business.
That's right.
I'm in the process of getting an admin company to help me and deal with this.
That's good.
And that's the route I just decided to go, is just do an admin deal where I still own all my rights.
That's right.
I pay a little percentage for them to push.
That's right.
Push my material for me, because I got a catalog of songs and I'm trying to get them to push them as well for on the commercial side of syncs and television and films and whatever exploitation they can do to get it out there, because record sales are flat. Hopefully I can find the next, young rapper that uses it and that record goes triple platinum, or next singer decides to use a sample from it. Then that starts all over again and the money is all mine and not BMG.
Exactly.
Or Total Experience. So, and at 64 years old, I'm starting all over again, basically, when it comes to the revenue. So, I'm not ashamed of that, because I made some money. I've made some money in my time.
Yeah.
Money, it ain't all about money, though.
That's right. That's right. But the ownership and something to hand down. I mean, you talking about your young daughter, and then your grandchildren, and then their children.
That's
legacy, baby.
Legacy, man. You want to own, and like Tyler Perry said, own your shit, man.
Own it.
Stop letting them own your shit.
That's right.
We got to do that in everything we got. We got to do that. Own your shit, man. That's what I'm trying to do, man. I turn down big money, 6 figures, and turn that shit down like no big deal.
That's right.
Easy.
Absolutely. My.
So that's kind of my story when it comes to that's where I'm at right now when it comes to this songwriting tip thing. I'm still writing new music.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm always in the studio. I'm working with some young rappers and artists. I play with the Daz Band right now. I've been with them for a long time, messing with them.
Cleveland, Ohio. Again,
Sure.
Ohio, baby, yo.
Skip's from Youngstown. He used to hang out there in Youngstown.
Skip, ask him about Mighty G, okay? He used to play with a band before he got with Daz called the Mighty Generation Band. I'm a kid coming up under, like, you know, sitting, trying to learn the chops as Mighty Generation. He was playing trumpet with them. Ask him about that.
Were you playing drums with them?
I played drums. No, I was younger. So I'm here. Here's Mighty Generation about to lop off. Skip goes to Daz band. They kind of disband a little bit, but I'm in that younger generation.
You were
junior. You know what I mean? But we out here we were trying to learn everything coming up because that's what we had. I mean, we had bands. The rappers wasn't really taking off. Curtis Blow, 1981, whatever. But you know, I mean, my formative years was about bands. That's
right.
What was happening, and that was legacy for us. We were looking up above, you know, because again, Ohio was just replete with every type of funk band you could imagine. Bootsy down in Cincinnati, come on, man.
Right.
Yo, right. You know, that's where I am. That's my heart. I bleed funk music.
Oh yeah, no, and I ain't mad at you. You still play right now, right?
Absolutely.
Who are you playing with right now?
Well, there's a band called Sound Doctrine that we put together we've been together since 2001. Obviously, you know, on a slight hiatus, like every other performing musician is.
Nobody can do nothing right now.
Hey, yo, but you know, 6 albums by way of CDs and the publishing, everything stays in house. You know, branched out to do the EntreMusician, part of a mastermind of different musicians from across the country that's looking at the ways that technology can help us and benefit us. So we're not always signing the thing with Spotify or whoever, the Amazon Music or whoever the next thing is. What can we build for ourselves? So we put together a mastermind. It's called the EntreMusician Mastermind Collective. And we meet every Thursday on Zoom and we're talking about, okay, what's hot now? What are we doing? How are we moving this forward? So
great. That's good. That's good.
It's got to be like that. You know, it's got to be because someone will always dictate to you what you should do with yours.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Why let that happen? I mean, if we continue to let it happen, we deserve it. That's just the way it is.
That's it. And it's the same when it comes to like songwriting and publishing and stuff like that. If you continue to let them screw you,
that's right,
for $1, it's your fault.
Maurice White said a long time ago, he said, if you don't understand me, it's your fault.
Your fault. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta make it plain. And so again, and you've just earned yourself about maybe 900 more interviews. You can come back on the EntreMusician whenever you want, because you haven't given any advice yet, and we're out of time. But you got to give some advice. You gotta, you know, we gotta talk about your book. We gotta talk about Gap Band X, the band, you know, and the stuff that you guys are working on. So there's much more to discuss. But I'm so grateful
talk about
this opportunity.
Yeah, let's just make a part 3 whenever you get a chance. I go into we can talk about all of that.
Absolutely. I'd love to do it. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your story. This is what we're talking. Another thing is that LinkedIn for musicians is what's up. It's not the Facebook. It's not the Instagram.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is the serious cats and young ladies who are really trying to make it happen. And there's real networking going on.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching back out to me when I put it out there. I had to do it because this is what we're about right here. This man got his copyrights back. That's what we do.
Hey, man, and God is good about it. You know what I'm saying? And I would suggest, just getting off, I know we're going to go, but I would just suggest to any young guys is just know your business going in.
That's right.
It's one thing to be like this, but it's another thing to be like this.
Word up.
Because if you're not,
it's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
You will get took.
Will get took.
Because if there's a way to take you, they know the way, and they're going to take you.
They're going to take you, bro. So you got to know your business, man. You got to know what this business is about.
Absolutely.
Business is 90% business and 10% playing. That's all. That's what I always say. I never made money being no drummer. Not really. Not really being no drummer. Yeah. I ain't never really made no money with that. My money all came from being a songwriter, being a business person when it comes to that part of it.
Absolutely.
But the bulk of my monies was always made. The best monies were always made when it comes to songwriting and pub, that thing. It wasn't from playing. So, yeah, that's all I can say, man. Know your business. To any young cat, know your business. That's my word of advice. All right.
Plenty more. There will be a part 3 at some point.
Yeah, we'll talk about the part 3, and I can talk on the GapX thing. Tell you what happened to that.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I'm having a good time with Bobby and the Daz Band. We just played this past weekend out in Virginia Beach for a streaming show. When it wasn't a live audience, we just streamed it.
Word up. Well, tell Skip Jerry B said what's up.
I will. I'll do that.
I'll reach out to him. But much love. Peace and blessings to you. Hey, thank you for joining us. The EntreMusician. We're going to repurpose this. Make sure you go back and listen to the last episode. That man right there is Ray Calhoun. You're going to hear more from him. You're going to hear more about him. But, get out your Gap Band catalog. Look it up on Spotify or wherever you listen to music and just go through all of that and hear that funky foot right there. Gap Band, Ray Calhoun, outstanding. My name is Jere B. I'm the EntreMusician, and so are you. We'll see you next time. Peace and blessings to you.
Peace.